The postseason picture is wild right now. If I had showed any football fan in the world the standings the day before the season began and showed you, I know there's 7 that make the playoffs, but let me tell you who the top 6 teams in the AFC are on November 28th, not September 10th, the day after week 1. Let me show you what it looks like here this late in the year, week 13. The Patriots are number 1, Denver number 2, Indy number 3, Daniel Jones and the Colts. Yes, Daniel Jones and the Colts, who, by the way, is a broken leg and playing through it somehow. I don't know what's going on there. Pittsburgh's number 4, Chargers number 5, Jaguars number 6. There's your top 6 teams in the AFC on November 28th. No Bills, no Chiefs, no Ravens. Unbelievable that these 3 teams have all stumbled to different degrees. The Bills are by far in the best shape right now, or maybe you wouldn't say that. Maybe you would say that it's still Baltimore because they are a half game out of their division and they have a much better chance of hosting a playoff game. But at the same time, the Ravens also have a better chance of missing the playoffs than the Bills do. They are a game back of the Bills. In fact, they are actually, They are a game and a half back and don't have the tiebreaker. So it's almost like they're 2.5 games back of the Bills. And that's the same as true of the Chiefs. 6-6. No tiebreaker against the Bills. It's really kind of like 2.5 games back. So as much as the Bills haven't looked great, and they've had a couple of bad losses, and some of it is even the schedule that they've played that is helping them, they are in better shape to make it this morning than Baltimore and Kansas City. There is a world where those 2 teams miss the playoffs entirely. And I can explain it for Baltimore. I can watch the Ravens and know why that would happen. One, they were injured for majority of the season, not just Lamar Jackson, but all the pieces on defense. And they are getting healthier and have been getting healthier on defense for a while now. Kyle Hamilton got back and a bunch of other pieces. Nate Wiggins. So they're getting healthier over there. Still might not be a great unit, but better than they probably were at some point during the season. Although Burrow had a pretty nice game yesterday. The reason the Ravens would miss, that I think is perfectly explainable, is Lamar ain't right. Lamar ain't right at all. You can see it. It's so obvious. He had that hamstring injury when he played the Chiefs, and ever since then, it just hasn't looked good. In the 5 games he's played, he's won 4 of them. Last night was his first loss since September. So it had been 2 months since we had seen him lose. He obviously missed a lot of those games. But in none of these wins had he really looked dominant, never looked like he was running around, escaping. That was probably the biggest tell as to why you knew Lamar wasn't the same Lamar, and that offense wasn't the same terrifying, dominant rushing attack combined with a dynamic passing attack. Lamar, in his 5 games since he's returned, these are his rushing totals in the 5 games that he has played since coming back from injury. 14 yards, 36 yards, 10 yards, 11 yards, and then last night, 27 yards. Nothing happening. He's taking 1 million sacks, and the passing, I think, is starting to get taken advantage of by defenses because they know he is not the threat to run that he was at the beginning of the season or last year or beyond. So Lamar not being right, that's how it'll happen for Baltimore. I think it's pretty easy to see that. I also feel like this is true of Derrick Henry, too. And he put up a decent game yesterday. He averaged 6 yards a carry. He only had 10 carries. But anyone else watching Derrick Henry and looking at a guy that just can't hit top speed anymore? Or maybe he had an injury that no one knows about that he's been nagging him and dealing with during the year. That can happen too. Because beginning of the year, week 1 against the Bills, he looked amazing. So But that can happen, right? Like guys at that age, you get the wear and tear of the season, and sometimes you can't carry that on your shoulders the way that you once were able to. And at 31 years old, with all the mileage that Henry has, like if his decline was to come in the middle of a year, that's not unheard of. That could definitely be the case. And I think that might be happening. He just looks so slow to me. Still hard to tackle. He's big. Like, he gets even a little bit of speed, and he's still tough to bring down. But half his yards came on one run last night. I don't know. Like, I don't see the same player at the moment. Maybe I'll be eating crow on that if they play the Bills in a playoff game and he goes for 200 yards, which could also happen. But I think the Baltimore problems are their best two players aren't right. The running back looks shot at the moment, and the quarterback doesn't look healthy. That's how they'll miss. Someone explain the Chiefs to me. Someone explain the Chiefs. Why is it happening to Kansas City? And I'm glad it's happening to Kansas City. I think they're in way worse shape than the Pittsburgh and than the Ravens are, because the Ravens just have to track down one team. They just got to get over the hump against Pittsburgh, and they're in. They could be in a spot by the weekend at 6-6. The Ravens might be able to win like 8 games and make the playoffs. It's possible. 9 probably gets them in. Depends how they play against the Steelers head-to-head. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, like their bar for getting in, it might be 11 wins. And I got news for you. They only got 5 games left. Their bar to get in might be winning out. We talked a little bit about them on Wednesday at the beginning of the show and how they don't really have margin for error. And there they went, and they found a way to lose to the Cowboys, which in that game, did you guys watch the game and think the same thing I did? Which is the Chiefs on defense could not, like, they just knew they couldn't cover Lamb and Pickens. And that they were grabbing on every play. And you know what? Like, as much flack, and a lot of times it's deserved, as the refs get for giving the Chiefs breaks, it happens in the playoffs a lot. Like, their penalty differential in the postseason is, like, disgusting. But I also want to take an opportunity when it's deserved to give them like a little golf clap, because I think the Chiefs' game plan was grab their receivers on every play, and they won't call it every time, and I feel like the refs called it almost every time.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. It was a yellow flag central for them, and I didn't hate it at all.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much they looked like they could not compete on that side of the ball with them. It was...
Yeah.
Even
was
with
embarrassing
Rice and Worthy and Kelsey, like...
But on the defense, too, like those are not bad. McDuffie and Watson are good corners.
Right.
And they couldn't handle Lamb and Pickens.
Yeah. Those two guys are just...
They're otherworldly at this point, yeah.
I had a hard time watching other teams' second-best receivers look like they could eat the lives of every receiver on the Bills combined. That's a different point.
Is the Cowboys' second-best receiver CeeDee Lamb, by the way? Pickens, who tweeted, one of the Buffalo media guys tweeted that Pickens right now, he is the best receiver in the NFL. And I might not go there because Jackson Smith and Jigba is having an insane season. Yeah. I would always just say Jamar Chase, but I'd listen to it. I wouldn't yell at someone who wanted to tell me right now they think Pickens is the best receiver in the league. He is insane.
He's dodging tackles, hurtling over guys seconds later. Like he was in a different planet yesterday.
He catches everything that's near him.
Yes.
And if he doesn't catch it, he draws a penalty on it because nobody can defend him.
Yeah.
It is incredible to watch him and Lamb both, but like he is just such a spectacle to watch because he's so dominant. He's so big and he's fast still. It is. You see why we want this for Josh when you watch those guys play, because it's a different way that these players create for their offenses. The Bills talk so much about, well, we want to get the ball in the hands of our guys so that they can make plays, so we can take some load off of Josh, right? It's like, yeah, you can, like, you should be doing that with better players, probably. Right. Like, you've got guys here that play in this league that if you just get them out in space, get them open, you don't have to work this hard. Everything looks so difficult for those Bills. And then you watch Dak just chuck a ball down, like, go get it. Go get it, Lamb. Go get it, Pickens. You'll go jump over a guy and make it happen here. And the Bills just don't have that talent. And I think it just becomes so obvious when you watch these other teams with these guys, these premier players play. It's just that stuff doesn't happen.
It makes it a lot easier on Dak.
Right.
And I think the thing that every team's fan base is doing this morning is they are going back to May 7th and they are asking themselves, why didn't our team trade a 3rd and a 5th round pick for George Pickens, who's maybe one of the 5 best receivers in the league today?
Right.
Why didn't my team do that? And there would be some obvious reasons. One reason he probably didn't go for more is he's never had a year like this. He's actually less than 100 yards away from his career high in receiving yards, and he's got 5 games left. He's going to smash it. He's on pace right now for 1,600 yards. His previous high with Pittsburgh was 1,100. And that's an obvious... Well, how's that the case? Dak Prescott is a way better quarterback than
Kenny Pickett
and Mason Rudolph, and who are the other Steeler quarterbacks that have played recently? Was
Russell
Duck
Wilson.
Hodges in the mix there? Russell Wilson,
Justin Fields.
exactly. You get him a good quarterback, not even like the best, although Dak is pretty darn good, and always has been. You give him a good quarterback, and bam, there he is. And again, one great receiver feels like it's necessary. 2 is a luxury where the payoff is obvious. When you got a guy like Pickens, you're going to get the most out of him when defenses can't focus all their attention on him because there's another guy they got to do that with. And that is when, to compare to the Bills, it's when the Bills were at their best. It's not just when they had Diggs. It's... They had Diggs, and it didn't look right when Ken Dorsey was the coordinator. When you're at your best with these offenses, the absolute pinnacle is when you have one guy that is so good that he pulls the gravity of the defense over to him, and he makes it so that you've got to double cover him, you got to bracket, you got to pay attention to him. And then you have another guy that's really good that can take advantage of the lack of attention on him. That's what's happening in Dallas right now. It's what's happened in Cincinnati for years. You see it at Philadelphia when they want to throw the ball, and the Bills when they had, the guys that I think a lot of fans miss right now, Beasley and Brown and Sanders and Davis, taking advantage of, I don't have as hard of a job because Diggs is so good, he makes my job easier. And I think that has made these receivers' jobs harder. So they don't have Pickens. Listen, would it be going as well here if the Bills had traded a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick for George Pickens? I think it'd be going pretty well. Maybe it wouldn't be going this well because of the point I just made about Lamb being on the other side. I'm not sure he'd be on pace for almost 1,700 yards. But I don't think there's any doubt he would help, and he would have helped a lot. But when you go back to that moment, why didn't a lot of teams trade a 3rd for him? It wasn't just he had never put up these types of numbers. It was the dude is a crazy person. He tries to fight people all the time. He's explosive both on the field and probably in the locker room a little bit too. And he's a guy that is, you got to pay a little extra attention to managing him and his personality. And like Dallas even had to do it a little bit. He was out at a casino until like 4 o'clock in the morning a couple weeks ago, and he missed a drive because of it, because of a suspension. Like there's some stuff you're going to have to deal with. And I don't know, are the Bills one of these teams we think would manage that or would be good at managing that? Because typically they like to just run away from that type of challenge. Like, this guy is amazing, but I've got to really work hard to keep him in line. Again, they haven't really tried to fight that fight many times. Not that I can really remember. So I don't know how it would be going here. But it's certainly a trade that you could look at and go, wish my team did that. And I think everybody today is doing that. Steeler fans are probably just mad that they did it at all. They didn't need to. They don't have another receiver other than Metcalf. So Pickens is a story, and putting the Chiefs to 6-6 behind Houston, behind the Bills, tied with Baltimore. The Chiefs are now a game and a half behind all of the wildcard teams, and they've lost to all of the wildcard teams. So they are essentially 2.5 games back with 5 games to go. Really tough. And we played this game on Wednesday. If you gave them wins against Tennessee and the Raiders, both games are on the road, but I'd be inclined to just say they're going to win those games. That gets them to 8. 10 wins, and they've got a shot at making the postseason. That would be winning 2 of 3 between Houston, the Chargers, and the Broncos. They win 2 of those 3, they got a shot. But again, the problem is they might lose out on tiebreakers because they don't have any at the moment. 11 is the record that gives them, all right, you should be in. That's winning all of their games. And to the original question, someone explain how they're losing these games. They look dangerous, but it's these little mental mistakes. Kelsey's dropping a ball and Rice is dropping a wide open pass. And I think probably the best explanation would be that the defense isn't as good as it's been in the last couple of years. And I think that's true. But they scored 23 and 19 points. And what was yesterday? They scored 23 and 19 in the previous 2 games. And then yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys, they scored 28. That's better. But even the offense is like these little mistakes, or Mahomes is missing passes down the field. I don't know. Just it's really weird to me that they've lost 6 games, but it's good, right? And everybody's very happy about it. I think we're about to get ready for a playoffs that does not include them.